what's up everyone? Welcome back to more Ace Attorney Investigations 2. Last time we left off, we got enough evidence to convict Catherine Hall, which is, good. So, yeah. Sorry. Do you ever, like, start thinking and then you stop talking for a second? I have a report! We detected traces of mammalian from the teapot.
You can't be serious! Just like Mr. Edgeworth said. Darn it, did Mr. Edgeworth take the title of the best from me again?
Mr. the Best, seems like you have an obsession about being the best. But when you're on a case, winning and losing is of no importance.
What are you saying? Obviously, it's best to be the best at everything.
If you can't understand that, then you have no business being a prosecutor.
What? Please stop harassing Sebastian. Sebastian, a person of your caliber has no need to listen to such things. Justine. Yeah, you're right. Please leave this to me. Why don't you go check on the victim's condition? Yeah, that's a great idea. I'll be right back then. Alright, I'll be waiting.
Judge Courtney is much more troublesome than Mr. DeBest.
Well then.
Mr. Curator?
Miss Curator, sorry. Can you tell us why normaline was discovered in the teapot? I was not aware that it contained such a chemical. I suppose it may have been an ingredient from the detergent I had used. So you're saying that you did not put it in deliberately? No, of course not. There is no way for me to have known how to create the poison gas.
Despite being a former actress, it seems you're not very good at lying.
What do you mean?
The angel's recipe is in your possession, and the method to create the poison gas is contained inside that recipe book, so you must have known how to create it.
I'm surprised you knew about that. Miss Curator, is this true? It's true that information about the poison gas is contained in one of the recipes. However, just because I saw it does not mean that I was responsible for the crime. Could you tell me what set off the poison gas? It was caused by the victim heating the lid of the glass case with a burner. I see. If he locked himself in that room of his own will and then set off the poison gas. Wouldn't that suggest suicide?
Does she intend to deny it until the bitter end?
Furthermore, I wouldn't have been able to obtain a chemical like Megatoxin X.
That may be true, but you could have stolen it from someone else.
That reminds me. I met up with Katie a week ago and... then it was when I realized that my Megatoxin X was gone. Katie, you couldn't have. The damn Delicious always carried her medicine bag around with her. Anyone could have stolen it.
That's right. I don't have any proof that she was the one who stole it.
Kate, can't you tell us what you're hiding? I know you're not the kind of person who would hurt someone without a reason. Monsieur Shields, you doubt me as well?
Setting a trap on one of the gallery's exhibits, and then disguising the rooms. I just think it would have been impossible for anyone but the curator.
That's not true. There are no guards or security cameras at this gallery. If any ill-intentioned person wanted to sneak into the gallery, it would have been an easy task for them. Then isn't this like an all-you-can-steal buffet in here? You have to be careful. You never know when a great thief could appear.
It doesn't sound like a joke when Case does it.
Actually, Monsieur Gustavia apparently entered the gallery before it opened.
Well, I'm beat. Looks like Uncle Ray can't do anything to break down Kate's iron guard. This might be a good time to use the technique your old man taught me. The technique my father taught you? This case is deeply connected to the one from 18 years ago. If we just pursue the present case, it may seem like there's a lot we don't understand. But if we try turning things around, there might be a hint in the case from the past. Thinking the other way around. Did my father do that too? God dang it. He feels more like Phoenix's father than mine. For example, just consider the relationship between the past case and Kate. Miss Hall melted Mr. Dover's sherbet sculptures 18 years ago, and today, Mr. Dover's works are on display in this gallery. Can't be. I see. Now I know what to ask her.
That's good to hear. In that case, Uncle Ray will just watch over you as you do your work.
Miss Catherine Hall. 18 years ago, it seems that you melted Mr. Dover's sherbet sculptures.
Yes, I was young and inexperienced, and I did something inexcusable.
However, isn't that why you were able to open the Zodiac Art Gallery?
I don't know what you mean. I don't understand either. Prosecutor Edgeworth, do you seek her testimony?
Yes, I would like her to tell me about the Zodiac Art Gallery. I would like to know the reason you decide to open a gallery for Mr. Dover's artwork.
If you insist that this is related to the case at hand, I will allow it. Mr. Curator, your testimony, if you please. Very well. If that will clear your suspicions about me. Now then, please testify about the Zodiac Art Gallery.
Boom! I love that, where their eyes cross.
18 years after Monsieur Master was arrested, I was finally able to buy back this mansion. Then, in order to maintain it, I decided to manage it as an art gallery. I collected peer who gets work from all over the world. After all, it was my dream to open the Zodiac Art Gallery. It's wonderful that your dreams come true. What do you think, Prosecutor Edgeworth? I don't believe there was anything strange about her testimony.
Judge Courtney, I believe in the courtroom it is standard to cross-examine the witness. Wouldn't you agree it's a little too early to say that there are no contradictions?
You speak like a defense attorney. Very well.
Proceed as you please. God, I can't explain it. I want this game to end so badly with him putting his prosecutor's badge down and you just see him, camera pans up, defense attorney badge on him. Because I would freak out if I saw that dude. And then next game, Ace Attorney, or Miles Edgeworth, Ace Attorney, I would be like, ah! There we go. Did you really think that your excuses will continue to hold up? No matter how much you lie, you can't deny the composition of the sculptures. From the analysis results, it's quite clear that the sculptures in the Winter Palace are the sherbet sculpture Mr. Dover created.
Oi, Miley, as a pharmacist, it's my turn to shine. What we call sugar actually comes in many different varieties and tastes. Even if the sculptures were replicas, it's nearly impossible to replicate the composition.
I see. Thank you for the explanation. Though I don't recall asking for one. That, Miss Hall, means you couldn't have melted the sherbet sculpture back then. You stole them and preserved them for 18 years.
Ah! What? She preserved the sherbet for 18 whole years?
You freeze it properly. It's not impossible.
Silence, please. Miss Curator, what do you have to say? I can't believe you've already uncovered so much. So you're admitting that you stole the sherbet sculptures? No, I cannot admit to such a thing. There isn't any proof that I stole them, after all. Also, I couldn't have stolen the sculptures 18 years ago. I don't think they would have been easy to steal without the police noticing.
Is that so? I don't know what you did 18 years ago. As such, how can I judge how difficult it would have been to steal them?
It looks like you won't give up so easily.
I don't intend on giving up until I learn the truth.
I understand. Then I shall tell you what I did 18 years ago.
What I did 18 years ago?
On the day of the incident, I was waiting in the main building until the judging. During the judging, at Monsieur Master's request, I went to change the film and the camera. But before I could deliver the camera to him, I discovered Monsieur Dover's body. After Monsieur Gregory arrived, I prepared tea for everyone involved in the investigation. It was then that I witnessed Monsieur Gustavi entering Monsieur Dover's room. And that was everything I had done on that day. I don't think there's anything suspicious about my actions.
That's not your decision to make.
Mr. Edgeworth, were there any contradictions in her testimony?
For now, I should just prove that she stole the sculptures. But when could Miss Hall have stolen them? If I can answer that, her crime should come to light. Probably when she went to go replace the film, right? Did you do so in the same manner as today?
Yes, I poured tea for everyone working on the investigation.
Now that you mention it, Uncle Ray also got some tea from you that day. Kay was pushing her service car back and forth, from the patio to the main building.
I see. Did anything seem strange to you then?
Well, I remember your old man singing praises of her Ceylon tea. And he also said something about how the saucer was chilled. The saucer was chilled? Oh! Were they under the service cart? Oh my god. This was when you stole the sherbet sculptures.
I'm sorry, but Monsieur Shields and company were at the fountain patio the entire time.
Are you saying that I stole them in broad daylight? That's precisely what I'm saying. Of course. This is where she hid the sculptures to steal them right under the noses. Oh, why didn't that hit me sooner? Of course. Yep. Ah, you were a fool. Neither my father nor Mr. Shields realized the sculptures was right in front of them. What you were pushing around was no ordinary service cart. It was the sculpture itself.
Eek! But surely that would still be impossible. If she placed the sculptures on the service cart, people would notice immediately.
I never said she used the service cart to move the sculptures.
What? What do you mean? Then what did she use to move the sculptures around?
This is what Miss Hall used to transport the sculptures. The pushcart. Where is it? There it is. Lift trolley, sorry.
And this is...
This is the lift trolley Mr. Dover used 18 years ago to move his sherbet sculptures. It seems the same lift trolley lies here, in the fountain patio.
That's because it was originally prepared for the contest in the first place. Are you saying she used a lift trolley to move the sculptures?
Yes. If the sculptures were placed on this lift trolley and then covered with a tablecloth, it could be disguised as a service cart and moved without arousing suspicion.
How could that be?
So the statues were chilled because they were sitting on the ice sculptures? Kate, what's the meaning of this? What were you thinking?
That was truly impressive. You certainly are Monsieur Gregory's son. After 18 years, it's hard to imagine any proof that I stole the sculptures remained. But I knew it was only a matter of time till I was suspected. Miss Curator, does this mean you admit to stealing the sculptures? Yes, I admit it. 18 years ago, I stole the sherbet sculptures from Monsieur Dover's room. It's just as Monsieur Edgeworth says. I disguised the lift trolley as a service cart. As I served the tea, I served tea as I made my way back and forth. That wasn't all. I also took the ice block with all the star clusters on it.
An ice block with star clusters on it? That seems familiar. A giant block of ice is being displayed here. It appears to be quite heavy. No, the inside must be hollow. The Winter Palace is a reproduction of Mr. Dover's room from 18 years ago. Because they had melted, my father never got the chance to see them. But those blocks of ice were also originally from Dover's sherbet salon.
The 2 sculptures and the 2 blocks of ice, I took everything I could. And then I placed empty glass cases in Monsieur Dover's room. The sculptures were all encased in glass to preserve their fine details. But the ice blocks were being displayed as they were. As per the rules, we prepared the glass cases for Mr. Dover.
So it would have been easy for her to prepare the glass cases.
In Monsieur Dover's room, there were some sculptures that were still unfinished. I thought if I melted them, it would look like the ones I had stole melted too. So everything you see in the Winter Palace are all original works from 18 years ago. Miss Hall, it didn't take much to get her to confess.
Then she must know. She knows it isn't enough to try her in court.
That is all I have to say, but even though I admit to stealing the sculptures, you can't arrest me for it. What? What do you mean by that? Heavens! You're assisting an investigation without knowing this much? Perhaps you should read this book concerning the Statute of Limitations. Statute of Limitations?
It means that you can't do a case after like 15 years, was it? To put it simply, it's the time frame in which a suspect can be taken to court. You can see it on this page. Murder, 15 years. Theft, 7 years. Oh, so the theft. Oh. Well, it doesn't matter. Either way, we can't actually get her.
The statute of limitations for murder is 15 years, and for theft it's 7 years. Ah!
That's right. and Miss Hall's theft was 18 years ago. According to the statute, she cannot be arrested for stealing the sculptures.
So that's how it is.
She doesn't care.
Stealing evidence from a crime scene is an unforgivable offense. However, for this crime at least, we have no right to pass judgment. It appears that Prosecutor Edgeworth's tepid reasoning has all been for naught.
I'm not done, you fool. I wonder about that. I deduce Miss Hall's actions simply to expose a different crime. If she only took the sculptures, we wouldn't have found the body from 18 years ago.
Are you saying that I hid Monsieur Dover's body?
That's correct.
But how can someone hide a body for 18 years?
I would imagine it would be very difficult under normal circumstances.
So you're saying the circumstances weren't normal? Are you claiming that you know where the body was hidden?
When you consider Miss Hall's actions, the answer becomes obvious. 18 years ago, Miss Hall stole something more than just Sherbert's sculptures.
If you're so confident, I'd like to hear your answer. Where did Miss Hall hide the body?
I don't know how to here? Yeah, okay.
This is the photograph of Mr. Dover's sculptures.
Yes, and perhaps you've noticed that the victim's body can be seen in this picture.
I did not see it. Please point it out clearly. Where in this picture can one see the body of the victim?
It's time to expose the location of the body in the photograph. Oh, no way. Oh my god.
The Gemini sculpture?
Yes. Well, it may look like the Gemini sculpture at first glance. In reality, this is none other than Isaac Dover himself.
This ice sculpture was the victim's body? But all I can see from this picture is an ice sculpture statue.
That's because a certain piece of evidence was used to conceal it.
Conceal it? Which piece of evidence did Miss Hall use to conceal the body?
Wow, the music got really quiet for this part. They want you to be like...
This is the cloth that was covering the sculptures in the Autumn Palace.
This cloth manipulates light. With it, it's entirely possible to make something look like ice. Isn't that right, Delicia?
Yes, see. When it glows red, it's like a raging inferno. And when it glows blue, you can almost feel the glittering cool ice. That cloth will only emit light when it's attached to a special device.
Judge Courtney, look closely at the picture one more time. Beneath the Gemini case lies a box-shaped object attached to the pedestal.
This is...
a rainbow light device. Detective Gumshoe reported one in the Winter Palace. This is a device that went missing 18 years ago. Originally, it would have been attached to the cloth inside the glass case. Naturally, Miss Hall took the device with her when she moved the sculptures. By using the rainbow light device to make the fluorescent cloth glow, Mr. Dover's body was made to look like an ice sculpture.
That's ridiculous!
So then, when Uncle Ray took a photo in the Winter Palace... That's right, the body had been in front of us all along, disguised as Gemini.
However, the body and the fluorescent cloth were both discovered in the fountain. If the ice sculpture was the body, we would have found it in the Winter Palace.
If we had found it there, her trick would have been revealed immediately. Miss Hall moved the body out of the Winter Palace to prevent us from discovering it.
Absurd. You say she threw the body into the fountain without any of us noticing?
No, Judge Courtney. There was no need for that. She simply used the same method as before. Remember the lift trolley? She moved the body to some other room and dumped it into the stream to the fountain. Naturally, the frozen body would have sunk to the bottom of the fountain. That's why the cloth floated up first and was found by Delicia.
And eventually, the body thawed out and floated to the surface. Monsieur Edgeworth, you truly have a gift for deductive reasoning. However, do you have any proof that I moved the body? If you cannot prove that, then there is no way I can accept what you are saying. Wasn't there anyone who saw Miss Hall move the body?
Yes, I believe such a person exists. The answer lies in the evidence. Yeah, I know, come on. Oh my, I know! Prosecutor Edward, do you have the evidence? I do. But the game won't let me. Suddenly, I have evidence that will show exactly what she did.
Which piece of evidence reveals the testimony?
I'll show you right now. Where's the sketch of beauties? Boom!
Another sketch. Oh, it appears I have been drawn in this one.
This is a sketch Larry drew of the woman at the fountain patio. Of the women. I would like to direct your attention to the service cart on the left side of the sketch.
Service cart? What about it?
Don't you see? What transpired 18 years ago has happened again. Miss Hall was moving the body in this sketch.
No! Please wait. I don't see Monsieur Dover's body anywhere in that drawing. All I did was hand out chocolates to everyone.
The key detail in this sketch is the color of the tablecloth. Up until now, I thought Larry just made a mistake.
The tablecloth. It's light blue.
It may be light blue in the sketch, but no blue tablecloth exists in this mansion. Perhaps it's light blue because the body was hidden, still glowing underneath the tablecloth.
What? But the lift trolley is rectangular in the sketch. If you just placed the body in the lift trolley, we would notice it immediately.
There were 2 blocks of ice in the Winter Palace that are completely hollowed out. If she put the body inside the block of ice, it would look like a service cart.
That's...
Miss Hall, you put the body in the block of ice and used the lift trolley to move it, didn't you?
I never imagined you would be able to deduce so much from just a single sketch. But what if it was just a mistake, like you said before? It doesn't prove anything.
Huh. I agree that alone the sketch is worthless. Once you remove the body, that's the service cart will revert back to a lift trolley. That's why the lift trolley was left behind in the fountain patio. And without the service cart, there would be no place for you to put your chocolates.
Chocolates I gave everyone.
Until then, the chocolates had sat on top of the service carts as you gave them away. When you gave them to us, you took them from your pocket.
Ah, now that you mention it, they were a bit melted. But they were still really sweet and tasty.
So why was it necessary to put them in your pocket halfway through?
That's because...
That's because, once the body was disposed of, you no longer had a service cart.
Hold it right there. If she put the chocolates in her pocket and left the lift trolley in the patio, then where did the tablecloth go?
She'd been forced to put the chocolates in her pocket. She wouldn't have had time to dispose of the tablecloth.
Prosecutor Edward, can you answer that for me?
The tablecloth wasn't hidden. It's right in front of us.
Do clarify. The tablecloth used to hide the body. Where is it now?
Miss Hall has it with her, don't you see? Oh, you're a fool. Isn't it obvious? Miss Hall is carrying it with her out in the open.
Out in the open? You mean...
Miss Hall, you are wearing the tablecloth around your waist. The block of ice was not encased in a glass case. In other words, the tablecloth was in direct contact with the block of ice. If we have it examined, we will undoubtedly find traces of sherbet on it. Miss Hall, you will turn your tablecloth over to the police at once.
There's no need to examine the tablecloth. It is just as you say. I stole the poison from Madame Delicia, and I moved the body.
Aw.
I have done terrible things. Madame Delicia, I'm so sorry. 1 week ago, I took your Megatoxin X bottle.
Look, she's so freaked out. Ah!
I slipped into that man's pocket to make it look like suicide. And if they suspected it was murder, the evidence will point to Madame Delicia. Yep, Katie.
Kate, what were you thinking? Weren't we always trying to save Mr. Master together?
I could not let myself be arrested. Not until I had proven Monsieur Master's innocence. From the very beginning, I had planned to turn myself in once everything was over. But I suppose it is too late to say that now.
Kate, why? Why would you go this far?
Even for Monsieur Shields, I've caused nothing but trouble. For the past 18 years, I've been a criminal. The IS-7 incident. Don't tell me that you were the true culprit. My greatest crime was stealing the Sherbert sculptures for my own selfish interests. When Monsieur Dover died, they were no longer just ordinary sculptures. They had become the final works of the sculptor Monsieur Master so deeply loved. What if they melted before Monsieur Master returned? With that in my mind, I couldn't let anyone touch them, not even the police. Even though I knew it was wrong, I moved them to the mansion's freezer. However, I only wanted to preserve Monsieur Dover's art. I did not know his body was hidden amongst them.
So she stole the sculptures without noticing the body.
Monsieur Master would have never taken another person's life. But because of me, the body vanished, and Monsieur Master was found guilty. That kind man. He treated someone like me as family. He meant more to me than anyone else, and yet...
Kate.
Monsieur Master was found guilty. I was chased out of this mansion. I was finally able to reclaim the mansion just a few days ago, but... when I saw the sculptures still sleeping away in the freezer, I realized that I was the one who hid Monsieur Dover's body. However, the statute of limitations already expired. Therefore, I could think of no other way to atone for my sins.
It appears I misunderstood her. It seems she caused this entire incident in order to save Mr. Master.
What you thinking about, Mr. Edgeworth?
There's one thing that has been bothering me this whole time. Why would Miss Hall plan a murder with such an uncertain method like poison gas? And the reason she disguised the Autumn Palace to look like the Winter Palace was to make those involved in the incident 18 years ago confuse the two rooms.
I wonder what Kate was trying to accomplish.
She was trying to prove Mr. Master's innocence. In that case, Miss Hall's true objective was to turn herself in to find the true culprit, to make us find the body. She's not the culprit, is she? Perhaps she was trying to find the true culprit. Miss Hall, were you trying to prove Mr. Master's innocence? You wanted to reveal the true culprit and have the police find the body from 18 years ago. Was that not your true goal? By displaying those sculptures, you'd attract those involved in the past incident. Only two people would know where the body was hidden. You and the true culprit. The culprit would have panicked knowing that the body would be displayed publicly. Yes, and if the culprit really showed up, there's the risk they'd erase their tracks. In the worst case scenario, they might have even stolen the body. So, how could she protect the evidence while simultaneously luring in the culprit? I see. That's why she made the Autumn Palace look like the Winter Palace. Yes, and then, Miss Hall, you must have thought, whoever opens the Pisces case, believing it to be the Gemini case, must be the true culprit of the IS-7 incident.
What? But that means that person is the true culprit. Please wait a moment, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Do you realize what you're saying? Do you intend to accuse that person of being the culprit behind the IS-7 incident?
Miss Hall was trying to trap the true culprit. If so, wouldn't the person who fell for the trap be the true culprit? However, I have no evidence to back up my claims. If I make a formal accusation without any proof, it will not end well. Should I announce the true killer of Isaac Dover? Make an accusation, who cares? What I should do is reveal the truth. In that case, there's no need to hesitate. Ah, you're a fool. Yes, that's correct, Judge Courtney. I indict this person as the true culprit behind the IS-7 incident. Let's save slot 2, just in case we were wrong the entire time.
Dean Gustavia, who fell victim to the poison gas, is the true culprit in the IS-7 incident? Gusty is...
Mr. Gustavia. Miss Hall, didn't you believe that if you open this gallery, the true culprit will come? That's why you set up the poison gas trap, is it not?
You truly have a gifted mind, just like your father. It is as you say, Monsieur Edgeworth.
Now, would you please tell us the whole truth?
Yes, I have nothing more to hide. I will tell you everything. I set a trap in the gallery to find the true culprit. Before the gallery opened, I left only the Autumn Palace unlocked. At the opening time, when I went around to unlock each room, I discovered that the Autumn Palace had been locked from the inside. I knew that the true culprit was on the other side of the door. My hand was trembling.
All that was left was for the trap to do its work.
When I heard Monsieur Gustavio was exposed to the poison gas, I realized he was the culprit, and I thought that if the police discovered Monsieur Dover's body, it would prove Monsieur Master's innocence.
Why didn't you ever come talk to me? There might have been another way.
I know that you did everything you could for me over the past 18 years. However, all of this had been brought on by my own crime. That's why I wanted to save Monsieur Master as soon as possible.
Kate, not only that,
the police hid the fact that the body went missing 18 years ago. If I reported the body, there's a chance that the truth would be hidden again. That's why I caused the incident at the museum's opening, with as many witnesses as possible.
I'm sorry. Gregory, Mr. Master, and even you. I couldn't protect anyone. Mr. Shields, it must be tough on him as well.
God, this case is sad. The one who should be apologizing is me. Monsieur Edgeworth, Monsieur Shields, I'm terribly sorry. I shall accept whatever punishment I am given. However, I must ask of you, please clear Monsieur Master's name.
The truth that was hidden for 18 years was revealed in an unexpected manner. However, to think that things would end this way. No! Screw it, we're playing to the end. I'm not stopping. We are 40 minutes into this video. That's not long enough for a video. Let's keep playing. Ooh, hell, that's a lag. Miss Hall, have you composed yourself?
Yes.
What you did, no matter the reason, was unforgivable.
Yes, I know.
However, you committed this crime in order to prove Mr. Master's innocence. If the true culprit is someone else, we have a duty to reinvestigate.
No false evidence from the IS-7 incident remains in the official case files. Moreover, there is no evidence to lend credence to Miss Hall's testimony. We should first arrest Miss Hall as the culprit behind today's incident.
We cannot be certain that all the case files are accurate. After all, the prosecutor in the case has a history of forging evidence.
Are you suggesting that the PIC overlooks such a prosecutor?
That's none of my concern. The truth is that evidence was falsified. And the fact that Dover's body from 18 years ago was just discovered proves it.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, I can see remnants of Prosecutor Von Karma within you.
What did you say?
You try to deceive the PIC and fabricate the truth. Let me inform you of the PIC's logic. I acknowledge that Prosecutor Von Karma fabricated the information about the body. However, he successfully convicted Mr. Master as an accomplice. I believe that the true culprit was Miss Curator herself. She even attempted to murder Mr. Gustavio today in order to pin the blame on him.
Is that really what the PIC believes?
Yes, every word I utter is for the sake of the law and order.
It seems she intends to hide the truth for the sake of the PIC. At this rate, neither Mr. Master nor Miss Hall will be saved. That's okay, I think I already see what it is. If she wanted to pin the crime on somebody, why choose Mr. Gustavia?
Perhaps Mr. Gustavio suspected Miss Hall was the criminal, as he attempted to confirm whether or not the Gemini sculpture was genuine. He was caught in a trap meant to silence him forever.
Can you prove that theory?
Mr. Gustavio is currently teetering on the brink of death. There's probably no way to prove it, unless he regains consciousness. In other words, there's nothing we can do for now.
That can't be true. There must still be something we can do.
You still don't get it, do you? Allow me to give you a clearer explanation. We already have ample evidence for both the IS-7 incident and today's poison gas incident. There's no need to investigate any further.
Maybe the... Oh, there we go, okay. I don't know why, but sure. Let's go with this game. There's still one piece of evidence from the IS-7 incident that remains unsettled. Take a look at this.
This is
the forensic results from the Gemini sculpture that melted in the Winter Palace. According to the results of the analysis, traces of someone's blood were found. Oh, I forgot about that. Who does this blood belong to? Until we know the answer, this case is still open.
There was blood mixed in with the remains of the Gemini sculpture. I heard nothing of this from Sebastian.
This was a report from Detective Gumshoe. I had planned to tell Mr. DeBest myself.
Huh. So even though you had no investigative authority, you still did as you please. I shall report everything that transpired today to the PIC.
I will not avert my eyes from the truth, nor shall I overlook the mistakes of the past. If you wish to report my actions to the PIC, be my guest. But in exchange, I want you to let me investigate this case at the very end.
It is not my place to decide such things. I must ask that you check with Sebastian regarding this matter. Hey, good news, you guys!
Oh!
Thanks to our early detection, Mr. Gustavia's life was saved!
Mr. Gustavia?
So, he's alive.
Would you be the ones who saved my life? That's the Von Carver voice.
Would you be the one who saves my life?
Hey, Mr. Gustavia.
You are Sir Assistant, are you not?
You have grown so big
This time, this one is your assistant then?
No, I'm... He's an assistant candidate, and Gregory Edgeworth's son. I'm Miles Edgeworth, a prosecutor. Ugh, what a twist of fate. I'm in your debt. It is thanks to you that I have completely recovered. There's no need for thanks. Since you're alive, we can reach the truth behind the incident 18 years ago. What do you speak of? While you're unconscious, the truth has started to come to light. He may be Isaac Dover's murderer.
What? Really?
Miss Hall was looking for the criminal behind the events of 18 years ago. That's why she set up the poison gas in the Pisces case. Mr. Gustavia, the events of the incident 18 years ago. Tell us what really happened. So you wish to remain silent? Nah, I think he's just meditating.
He can sleep standing up? What a useful skill to have!
Meditation is different from sleeping, though. Mr. Gustavia, please tell us what you did 18 years ago. I'm the criminal because I fell for the trap. That's not a very funny joke. I'm a victim, not a culprit.
Mr. Gustavia, it has not yet been made clear whether or not you are the criminal. This is only their baseless speculation. Do not concern yourself with the drivel of the prosecutor without jurisdiction.
At least there is one person here who understands.
My name is Justine Courtney. I am a judge. If you would like, I'll be happy to assist you. Let us show Prosecutor Edgeworth the truth of 18 years ago.
Understood. I shall prove my innocence to you, Sir Prosecutor. Judge Courtney, is that your answer? Do you intend to bury the truth of the IS-7 incident before it can be brought to light?
I merely believe in the judgments of the goddess of law.
Ultimately, those who render judgment are only human. As long as humans control the law, there is no guarantee that every verdict is correct. If you are going to help conceal the truth, I will not hold back.
I'm looking forward to it.
Lady Justine, what should I do now?
You're being suspected because you set off the poison gas. Can you tell us the reason? Why you opened the Pisces case?
Understood. I came to see Sir Dovin's works from 18 years ago. However, I accidentally entered the museum a half hour before it opened. Miss Hall, there was nobody at the entrance, correct?
Since I thought the criminal from 18 years ago might be coming, I had no security guards in place. I didn't even lock the doors. I was very busy with opening preparations, so there was nobody on the first floor. In addition, I locked every palace door aside from the autumn one.
I see. This must have been done in order to lure the criminal to the Autumn Palace. Which is why he ended up entering the Autumn Palace.
It's already suspicious that he snuck into the museum in the first place. The gallery should remain silent. Unless you have evidence that can prove his testimony false, I will not allow any objections. Gallery? This isn't even a courtroom! Now then. Why did you open the Pisces case? I wish to view Sir Dovin's handiwork up close. The Gemini sculpture. No, it was actually the Pisces, wasn't it? The lid had been frozen shut, so I borrowed the burner to open it. But as soon as I opened the lid, poison gas began pouring out. That's quite a convenient testimony. Sounds like a total lie, doesn't it? There are parts of Mr. Gustavio's testimony that I have issues with as well. However, there's no evidence to disprove it. But that's... Well, it did not make sense for suspicion to fall on Lady Catherine before myself. She may have intended to release the poison gas haphazardly. Gate turned on the sprinklers as soon as the gas was released. She was specifically targeting the person who triggered the trap. Mr. Gustavia, you were her only target. You were willing to accept the words of this criminal as the truth. Miss Hall must atone for her crimes. However, the same can be said for the criminal from 18 years ago. Sir Prosecutor, it seems you wish to suspect me to the bitter end. However, I had no reason to murder Sir Dovin. Is there no evidence to suggest that I killed him? If there is no evidence to suggest that I killed him, you cannot suspect me! Ugh. Mr. Edgeworth, can't you prove that Mr. Gustavia is the criminal?
All we know for sure is that Mr. Gustavia fell victim to the poison gas. No matter how strange his behavior was, it won't prove he committed the murder.
But that's... Mr. Shields, is there nothing we can do?
Well, if there isn't any evidence, we should try reorganizing the facts. If Mr. Gustavio is the one who killed Mr. Dover, there must have been a motive.
Motive? Mr. Gustavia himself is denying that such a motive exists.
I mean, I already know what it is. He was trying to frame, what's-his-face. It's not easy to take another person's life. 18 years ago, your old man also discussed the motive with Prosecutor Von Karma.
You claim that collaboration is irrelevant if Mr. Gustavia and Mr. Dover's relationship had turned sour.
Oh, okay. Never mind. I thought he was gonna...
It could serve as a motive for murder.
We couldn't talk to Mr. Gustavia 18 years ago, but this time things are different. If we connect everything we've learned so far, the truth might be revealed.
Yes, I suppose so. It seems I must re-examine the information from 18 years ago. I must recall all the details that have remained unexplained.
So, the gloved finger marks on the picture frame, was your doing?
Delisha denied leaving the finger marks on the frame. If they were left by Mr. Gustavia, he may have been trying to view the angel's recipe, sorry.
Once your master asked me to change the film for the camera. Seeing the film he prepared in advance wasn't enough.
There wasn't enough film.
Seems the number of photos he took didn't match up with the amount of film remaining.
What? Okay.
Well, I might have...
Huh. The information my father collected 18 years ago was certainly not for naught. If there is no evidence, then I shall use logic to reveal the truth. Okay, so... the obvious route, motive for the murder partnership turned sour.
And... okay, cool. One down.
Mr. Gustavia, you collaborated with the victim, Isaac Dover, to create your desserts, didn't you? Oh, it seems you know about my secret. Mr. Shields told me about it. Mr. Dover handled the design while you were in charge of the taste, is that correct? Back then, my training had been insufficient. Seems you worked together through the semi-finals, but not during the finals. Why is that? We both wish to compete in the finals against Mr. Master on our own merits. You must have also helped with Isaac Dover's dessert, even during the finals. What makes you able to declare something like that? Didn't you tell Prosecutor Von Karma about it yourself, 18 years ago? That you cooperated until the day before the finals? The sculptures in Mr. Dover's room were all made out of sherbet. Such an amount would most likely need to be left overnight to freeze, which means Mr. Gustavia prepared Mr. Dover's sherbet in advance the day before. That's right. So you realize Gustavia's cooperation ended the day before the finals. Then why did Mr. Dover not help Mr. Gustavia in return? The views of the dead are no concern to me. Why did Isaac Dover not help you in return? If there is a reason why your partnership with Isaac Dover broke down, that would be a motive for murder. That could be a possibility. However, Sir Dover and I ended our partnership peacefully.
Peaceful breakup? That's hard to imagine.
Not to mention, it's absurd to think I killed Sir Dover in Sir Master's room. I couldn't have killed Sir Dover while Sir Master was also there, making his desserts. In other words, there is no way I could have committed the murder. That's not true. If there was a moment when Mr. Master was absent from the room, I could prove that it was possible for Mr. Gustavia to commit the murder. Timing of Dover's murder. I don't think this is right. No. Okay. I kind of want to... Can I do this? Okay, cool. My thought worked. If he had photographed the contents of the angel's recipe, he wouldn't need to steal it. Perhaps Mr. Gustavia used Mr. Master's camera to take the pictures.
If he had stolen the actual recipe book, the police would have found out.
I see. Pictures, eh?
The problem is the time at which he entered Mr. Master's room.
Mr. Gustavia could have moved around freely during the afternoon tea, right? Because it seems both him and Mr. Dover did not participate in the afternoon tea. Ah, there we go.
If I remember correctly, the only time we can prove that Dover was still alive is... The victim was not seen, as he stayed locked up in his room after the contest had begun. The only one who could have unlocked rooms was Jeff Master. Was Master's desserts all that you ate?
Actually, no. After the afternoon tea, I also ate Icy's desserts.
After the contest began, Isaac Dover was locked up in his room. If we assume he was killed at some point before Delicious snuck into his room, then there is a high chance that he was killed before the afternoon tea was over. Boom, boom, boom. Combine! Isaac Dover was alive up until the afternoon tea began. Ergo, that is the only time when Gustavia could have killed Dover.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, are you satisfied?
Sorry, but I'm far from satisfied, because I'm finally starting to see the truth behind this case.
Are you saying you have found some evidence to show us that truth?
No, there is no need to present any evidence, since we can just have Mr. Gustavia tell us the truth.
Ah, so this is where you use that, right?
Indeed. Mr. Gustavia, there's one thing I want you to tell me. Oh, I said, Mr. Gustavia, there's one thing I want you to tell me. Oh, what is it? During the finals of the contest, you made your desserts on your own. I wanted to compete for the title of world's greatest pastry chef on my own merits. If that were truly the case, you would have competed on your own merits from the start. I want you to tell me why it was necessary for you to cooperate with Isaac Dover. Oh, mine chess. Let's go. Yes! Oh, I love it so much. During the contest 18 years ago, Mr. Gustavia collaborated with Mr. Dover. I wonder, what made them decide to cooperate in the first place? That's what I need to draw out from him, but... Ooh, armored. Seems he pretends to meditate when things aren't going its way. First, I'll ask about why he collaborated with Mr. Dover. The truth has been hidden for 18 years. That ends today. Logic checks begin. Why did you decide to collaborate with Isaac Dover? Sir Dover and I were already acquaintances even before the contest began. Since he was interested in the contest, we simply decided to enter it together. Joining forces with the sculptor. You weren't confident in your own abilities. You know nothing about me. We want to make great works together. Sir Dover's son and my own attended the same elementary school. We all got along well from the start. Really? So we are going to share the title of the world's greatest pastry chef together? Oh, there we go. As expected, he pretends to meditate when things aren't going his way. Mr. Dover was a sculptor. I doubt he had any interest in the title of world's greatest pastry chef. In that case, where did his true goal lie? Boom. Indeed, my goal was the title of the world's greatest pastry chef. However, Sir Dover's goal was the grand prize, the angel's recipe. I see. You cooperated because your interests were aligned. But that must have been a reason why your partnership soured. Sir Prosecutor, I am the victim of a poisoning. If you're going to suspect me in this manner, perhaps I'd better return to the infirmary. Wait a moment. In that case, you should end things soon. I'm not a patient man. It seems he's trying to leave. I can't let that happen. He's still hiding something. Next, I should ask him about his true goal. I need to keep the pressure on him while being cautious of the time. Did you want to appear on Mr. Master's TV show? I believe it was called Shake and Bake, was it not? I'm pretty sure it's called Piece of Cake. Would you really want to see me dance about while I make desserts? No, that's probably wouldn't be too popular with the kids either. Exactly. I know my limitations. I have no interest in that kind of theatrical tomfoolery, Sir Prosecutor. You should think about who you're talking to before asking questions. I understand. I should refrain from making unnecessary statements. What? Oh, okay. I must read my opponent's reaction and emotions, and strike with the right words. Didn't you have another goal besides the title? The title alone didn't seem to have much value. How dare they lecture you insult the title of a confectionery artist? My only goal was the title itself. I had no interest in anything else. My dream was to become the world's greatest pastry chef. 18 years ago, I was lacking in design sense. However, things are different now. Oh, are you saying you've improved at your craft? Exactly, for I've trained at the Republic of Zangfa. Yes. At the time, I also studied Mr. Master's works. I would often watch his show with my son. So you were studying Mr. Master's work to improve your own skills. If you had his recipes, perhaps it would have been easier for you to become the world's greatest... Perhaps. To a pastry chef, some Master's recipes were worth their weight in gold. Got him. If becoming the world's greatest pastry chef was your goal, you should have also been interested in the grand prize, the angel's recipe. The recipes of the world's greatest pastry chef. I would be lying if I said that I wasn't interested. However, I wouldn't think that simply being interested would be a problem. I wonder about that. The angel's recipe's true nature was not for making desserts, but cures, and all of the contest participants should have been aware of that. Looks like I'm getting close. He isn't meditating anymore. Now I have to slowly but surely drive him into a corner. Next, I'll ask what he planned to use the recipe book for. The angel's recipe. Did you know its true value? Silly question. It contains Sir Master's best dessert recipes. Any pastry chef with their salt would want it. It seems I don't have enough... Of course I don't. Why would I? I should try... Okay. Did you intend to win the angel's recipe and use it to make desserts? Of course. If I obtained the angel's recipe, I was going to use it in my training. Yeah, the angel's recipe was worth a lot of money. I don't know the exact details, but... that recipe book was much too valuable to be sold. You seem to know quite a lot about the angel's recipe. It was explained to all the contestant participants at the beginning of the contest. In that case, you must know about the recipe book's true nature. That is not a recipe for desserts at all. Impressive, Sir Prosecutor. So you know the true nature of the angel's recipe. The angel's recipe. Some have called it the ultimate recipe book. It contained formulas for new medicines that were not yet on the market. I knew the recipes were actually formulas for new medicines. This could be a useful clue. Looks like that clue will come in handy. You may have studied design in Zangfa. However, Your skills in lying could use more work. You just said earlier that the angel's recipe contained formulas for medicines. You weren't interested in desserts. You wanted the medicine formulas. There we go. Ah, you're a fool. Now, why would a pastry chef such as yourself be so interested in medicine? Perhaps what you were really after was the information about the new medicine. I've underestimated you, Sir Prosecutor. Yes. My goal was more than just the title of the world's greatest pastry chef. At the time, my son was ill. I needed the recipe for the medicine. Your son was ill? Tell me more about that. To protect my son's honor, I can say no more. Judging by the worried look on his face, I must have struck a nerve. Next, I need him to tell me more about his son's illness. This is it. This will be my final move of the game. What is the name of the illness? Did the angel's recipe have the only cure? Yes, though the medicine is being sold everywhere now. At the time, the recipe book was my one and only option. That's why I continue making my desserts, without joining the others for tea time. So you weren't interested in what Mr. Master was making? You sure seem confident in your chances of winning. I couldn't be bothered to pay attention to the other contestants' desserts. You just said earlier that you studied Mr. Master's works. In addition, if your goal is to win the contest in order to get the medicine formula, you must have been curious about the other contestants' entries as well. There was time to sample the other desserts during the contest, but none of their entries had any flavor. Oh, so I didn't want to eat any of it. He has the opposite of what the other guy has. He can't taste sweet stuff, can he? He can only taste salty stuff. I suspect I may have been a bit nervous as well. So everything he ate tasted flavorless. This could be a useful clue. What kind of person was your son? Ah, my boy. He loved the desserts I made. Did you enter the contest solely for your son? Sir Prosecutor, you can never understand the feelings a father had for his son. I wanted nothing more than to cure my boy's illness. Until the semi-finals, my son would always drop by the contest venue to play. Is that so? When he gets your way, I doubt you had time to care for your son while you were challenging Mr. Master. That may be so, but I want to grant my son's wish. He said he always wanted to be the first to eat my desserts. About your son. If he was so sick, wouldn't it be difficult for him to come and play with you? My son's illness. It wasn't life-threatening. That might serve as a clue. Alright, here we go. Looks like that clue will come in handy. You told me your son's illness was not life-threatening. Is there really a need to be so secretive about it? It was enough to keep him from living a normal life. That must have been difficult for your son. I tried everything I could to cure his illness. It wasn't fair for the poor boy. He could never taste the desserts he loved so much. What are you, fat? The angel's recipe contains a cure for a certain illness. A remedy that could also cure Mr. Master's taste disorder. What? He had it too? He had it too, I see. So your son suffers from a taste disorder? Oh! I didn't think you'd figure it out so quickly. In order to cure your son's taste disorder, you needed the recipe book. Wasn't that your true goal? It is as you say. Based on how he's acted up until now, it appears he is still hiding something. Looks like that clue will come in handy. There we go. Being unable to taste anything, regardless of what you eat. Such a bitter illness. That reminds me, didn't you say something similar earlier? None of their entries had any flavor, so I didn't feel like eating any of it, wasn't it? Perhaps your son wasn't the only one who suffered from a taste disorder. It's hard to imagine being a successful pastry chef without a sense of taste. Perhaps what you really wanted was to cure yourself. That's completely ludicrous. 18 years ago, I made those desserts all by myself. There we go. It seems you've caught yourself in a contradiction. Didn't you cooperate with Isaac Dover in the contest? You can hardly say you made the desserts all by yourself. Boom! No! No! You must take great pride in your abilities as a pastry chef, but to betray your pride and cooperate with another contestant. You did it all to cure your own disease. Well done, Sir Prosecutor. It is as you say. The one with the taste disorder is not my son. It is I. No one knew. I've kept it a secret for 18 years. It doesn't matter how long a secret is kept. If you lie before me, I will expose it. Dame Gustavia and Isaac Dover were both trying to obtain the recipes for new medicines. Gustavia to cure his condition, and Dover, most likely, to sell the recipe book for money. For this reason, they entered the contest as a collaborative effort. And with that, checkmate. Boom! Logic chess complete. Love that minigame so much. Whew. I have never told this to anyone. Well done. As you say, I developed a taste disorder 18 years ago.
Taste disorder?
It was just a fear disorder. I was unable to discern any flavor at all. It's the one illness a pastry chef dreads above all. Those symptoms sound a bit different from Mr. Master's taste disorder. Mr. Master's condition is known as hypogeusia. It simply causes a decreased sensitivity to certain specific flavors. Oh, so it's not specific to salt. I'm sure this caused Sir Master much pain too. After all, no medication was available to cure it 18 years ago. In order to cure your taste disorder, you would need Mr. Master's Angel's recipe. And that's why you entered the contest, am I correct? That was one of my goals, but I still have my sights set on the title of World's Greatest. When it comes to making desserts, I won't lose to anyone. Even without the ability to taste, I still have the utmost confidence in my flavors. Oh, so I presume you also prepared your desserts in the finals with the intent to win? That goes without saying. According to what Mr. Shields told us earlier, the evaluation of Mr. Gustavia's entry was... Up until the semi-finals, Mr. Gustavia's flavors and design were to my liking. Unfortunately, both the taste and appearance of his finals entry left much to be desired. Seems the desserts you made for the finals were not rated highly in regards to flavor. Mr. Gustavia, you will tell us about how you made your desserts during the final. Very well. It seems I must teach you upstarts a lesson. Desserts for the finals. Sir Dover and I cooperated until the finals. I handled the flavor. He was in charge of the design. However, for the finals, I wanted to challenge Sir Master with my own skills. I helped Sir Dover make his entry, but I made mine completely on my own. If the flavor of my entry wasn't good enough, my own lack of training was to blame. How about that, Sir Prosecutor? This is the truth of 18 years ago. I can't find any contradiction in his testimony.
Well, of course he isn't going to fess up that easily. This guy's been on the run for 18 years after all. Guess we'll just have to keep on pressing him until he breaks, eh?
Yes. So that sounds like I press everything. Alright, let's do that then. If the flavor of my entry wasn't good enough, my own lack of training was to blame. Up until the finals, I heard that you received as high praise for the flavor of your desserts. Was there some sort of accident during the finals? Nothing of the sort. I simply was unable to taste my work due to my taste disorder. My intuition must have been off. That's all. Then, was your intuition fine while making Mr. Dover's entry? How could there be such a huge difference between the finals and the previous day?
We're not getting anywhere at this rate.
Should I change the topic? So, you're sure there wasn't anything different between the semi-final and the finals? Yes, that's right. Aside from not cooperating with Sir Dover, the finals weren't much different from the semi-finals. There we go, because his son didn't come see him, right? There was another difference between the semi-finals and finals. This photo depicts your son. We know he came to visit you up until the finals. That is correct. What does that have to do with anything? Your son, who always came to see you through the semi-finals, was not present for the finals. And then, it was only in the finals that your flavor judged poorly. I don't believe this to be a mere coincidence. Your son's visits must have been very important to you, were they not?
Oh, he was the taste tester.
A father can work miracles when his son is watching. With my son cheering me on, I was able to make the most delicious desserts.
Mr. Gustavia sure sounds like a good father, doesn't he?
If what he's saying is the whole truth, one could say so. But just hearing his son's cheers wouldn't be enough to change the taste of his desserts. A confectioner, confident in his sense of taste, develops a taste disorder. It would have been difficult for him to maintain the taste of his desserts. Your son came to cheer you on. Was that really all he did? You seem very doubtful, Sir Prosecutor. In that case, I'll turn this around and ask you. What else could my elementary school son have done besides cheer me on? He tasted your desserts. I'm sure your elementary school son would remember the taste of your desserts. Of course! My son always loved my desserts. In that case, he would have been able to taste test your desserts in your place. What did you say? Earlier, you told us that you have a taste disorder. Do we really need to flash back to this? We just saw this. Really? Really, game? Really? Come on, I thought you were getting away from this. No one else knew about your taste disorder. If Mr. Dover had found out, he would have ended your partnership. After all, you were in charge of the flavor. Your son didn't just cheer you on, he also helped you determine if your desserts tasted correct.
I see. Mr. Dover's desserts was made the day before, so it still tasted good.
What you are saying is quite amusing, Sir Prosecutor. You say that my elementary school son assisted me as a taste tester. You are insulting my pride. Your pride? It's true, I had no sense of design 18 years ago. However, I won't lose to anyone when it comes to flavor. You claim I would cast aside my pride and rely on my son. Don't get carried away with your foolish conjecture, you upstart. In that case, I'm sure your son can confirm my theory is mere conjecture. Unfortunately for you, I no longer have a son. What? After my taste disorder was cured, I went to train in Zangfa immediately. During that time, I severed all ties with my son.
What?
Don't tell me. You would even abandon your own son?
That's not all. Even today, the whereabouts of his son are still unknown. The police have been searching, but they haven't been able to find any traces of him.
You wish to confirm your theory. I welcome you to try. Desserts are the only things that are important to me. After regaining my sense of taste, my son no longer mattered.
Order in the court. Mr. Gustavi's actions are certainly inhumane. However, we are not here to judge whether or not he is a good father. Prosecutor Edgeworth, I believe this is your loss.
After all, there is no evidence left from 18 years ago that could prove your theories.
Mr. Edgeworth, is there nothing we can do? At this rate, we'll never find out the truth.
Detective Gumshoe, where are those results?
I wonder whose blood it could have been. I asked Forensic to look into it, sir.
Right, I'll leave it to you, Detective. I entrusted Detective Gumshoe with the last piece of evidence. If only I knew who that blood belonged to.
Miles, there's still one thing that's bothering Uncle Ray. Was Mr. Gustavia's only reason for coming to the art gallery to check on the body?
If he only wanted to confirm the body's presence, he wouldn't have needed to open the case.
That's right. Is there a way we can prove this?
There is one way. We just need that evidence from Detective Gumshoe.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, what are you talking about?
Mr. Edward, sorry to keep you waiting, sir! Just the person I was talking about.
Detective Gumshoe, I trust you have the test results.
Of course, sir. I just got the report back from the lab.
Detective, please be silent. So, this is the evidence that Prosecutor Edgeworth was talking about. Huh? Hey, what's this? This is the first I've heard of it.
This was a request from me. I asked him to investigate a certain piece of evidence.
Why? Why is everyone always helping you out? I'm the one in charge of the crime scene.
Mr. DeBest, I apologize for taking matters into my own hand, but how about we hear his report first?
Sure.
Detective Gumshoe, what were the results?
Here's the report, sir. The traces of blood found in the Gemini sculpture belong to the victim of the poison gas, Dane Gustavia.
What are you saying? Good work, Detective Gumshoe. As I thought, my theory was correct.
Mr. Edgeworth, what do you mean? We too would like an explanation. What on earth does this blood prove?
This blood is something the culprit of the IS-7 incident tried to conceal. It can't be. That's... What? This blood was found inside the glass case of the Gemini sculpture. Oh! What? What is going on? In other words, your blood was found alongside Mr. Dover's body. No!
Why would Mr. Gustavia's blood be in a place like that?
If you intend to remain silent, then I'll reveal the truth myself. In the Gemini case, aside from the blood, we also found traces of salt and sugar.
Salt and blood.
And only one of Mr. Dover's sherbet desserts tasted salty.
Come to think of it, I remember Miss Delicious saying the same thing 18 years ago.
Oh yes, see, his sherbet was most delicious.
Really? Wish I could
Eat some too. There was one piece that was so salty I couldn't eat it.
Salty?
It's right here in this photo. There's a part of that lyre.
That's the lyre from the Gemini constellation.
Exactly. For some reason, salt had been mixed into the lyre. No other traces of salt were found in Dover's room.
In that case, please explain. Where did the salt detected in the lyre come from?
Of course, I didn't think of that.
This is the rock salt lamp used as the murder weapon in the IS-7 incident.
I believe part of this rock salt lamp was mixed in with the sherbet from the lyre. At the time of the murder, there were 2 rock salt lamps in Mr. Master's room. One of those lamps took Mr. Dover's life. We know that Mr. Dover's blood was left behind on the murderous lamp. However, there were no traces of anyone's blood found at the crime scene, Mr. Master's room.
Because the killer disposed of all desserts with traces of blood into the streams of water, right?
No other traces of salt were found in Mr. Dover's room.
Speaking of which, weren't the 2 rock salt lamps found in Miss Delicious's room also broken? Looks like both the lamps and the pillars are broken. But their light bulbs are broken.
Maybe they were dropped on the floor?
We never did figure out why the other rock salt lamp was broken. The rock salt lamp. Maybe Mr. Gustavia's blood was on the other lamp.
If your blood was found on the lamps at the crime scene, you would have been suspected. As the culprit, you would have needed to conceal all traces of your blood from the police.
Don't tell me he concealed it in the sherbet lyre.
Exactly. The rock salt lamp and his blood were mixed into the sherbet lyre and hidden inside the glass case. Unlike the fountain water, the sherbet desserts would not be analyzed right away. Perhaps he had planned to dispose of the sherbet when the opportunity presented itself.
Then, the reason Mr. Gustavia came to this gallery.
18 years ago, the body and the evidence pointing to the killer were both stolen. Even the killer could not have anticipated that. There was no way of knowing when the body and the evidence would be discovered.
So he planned to destroy the evidence before the Zodiac Art Gallery's grand opening.
Dane Gustavia, isn't it about time you confessed? You are the true culprit of the IS-7 incident.
Monsieur Gustavia, you're the reason Monsieur Master is...
No!
Mr. Gustavia.
Could it be? After all this time, my crime is finally brought to light. The prosecutors and defense attorneys 18 years ago never even came close. Bravo, bravo! Well done, Sir Prosecutor! So you admit that you killed Mr. Dover? No! It is true. I killed Isaac Dover. But he had only himself to blame.
What do you mean?
Dover and I worked together in order to win the contest. No matter who won, we agreed that we'd share the angel's recipe. But on the day of the finals, he stabbed me in the back. Sir Dover, this isn't what we agreed to. I'm sorry, Gustavia. The deal is off. What? But I made your desserts for you. I'm the reason you got this far. And what of it? Can you prove that you assisted me in any way? Dover, you were planning to betray me all along. Because of Dover's treachery, I was forced to make my final entry on my own. It's just as Sir Prosecutor said, my son assisted me every day until the finals. What about your pride as a confectionery artist? A proud chef loses the ability to taste his own creations. That's a feeling an upstart like you will never understand. Mastering the art of dessert making is my reason for being. It is my one and only pride. Committing murder for the sake of pride, that's another feeling I will never understand. To say nothing of abandoning your own son, such a thought disgusts me. Before you judge me, first understand what happened 18 years ago. On the day of the finals, my son never came to assist me. Thinking back on it now, I suppose Dover had a hand in that as well.
Huh? What exactly happened to your son?
I do not know, but it no longer matters. Ever since that day, my son meant nothing to me. From what I hear, he's still missing.
That's awful! Giving up on him like that?
Without your son, you had no chance of winning, correct? Yes, and since I was guaranteed to lose, I needed a failsafe. During the afternoon tea time, I made my way to Sir Master's room. I just needed to take a photo of the cure to my taste disorder. It would have all worked out. If only Dover hadn't interfered. Ah, Gustavia. Trying to steal a picture of my prize, are you? It hardly seems sporting. You! Cure for taste disorders. Oh, you have a taste disorder, don't you? Ah, this is rich! A pastry chef who can't taste! Dover, you! Ah! Puny worm. You're in no position to oppose me. Why, you! When I attempted to hit Dover, he struck me and sent me flying. I crashed into one of the rock-salt lamps, and that was when my blood stained on it.
So Mr. Dover wasn't the first one to be injured?
To conceal my blood, I shaved away part of the rock-salt lamp and mixed it into the sherbet. After that, it became a part of the lyre sculpture. So that's how you tried to erase your traces from the crime scene. Dover tried to blackmail me by using his knowledge of my taste disorder. If I didn't want it to become public, I was to pay him a large sum. So, that's the reason why you killed Isaac Dover? Exactly! What reason do I have to let those who obstruct me live? He was the one who drew first blood, I simply gave him his just desserts. So that was his motive. I carried the rock-salt lamp that bore my blood into Dover's room. Then I came up with a hiding place where it would not be easily found. I get it. That room contained plenty of tools for sculpting sherbet. Your deduction is spot on, Sir Attorney. It was the ideal place to shave away the rock salt. I then proceeded to coat the surface of the sherbet lyre with vast amounts of the salty mixture.
But why? Why did you try to pin the crime on Monsieur Master?
It shouldn't be that hard to understand. You are wrong to blame me for that, Lady Catherine. If not for your unnecessary meddling, Sir Master would have never been a suspect. Why do you think I hid the murder weapon in fluorescent cloth in Lady Delicia's room? There's only one reason why you placed the murder weapon in someone else's room. You want to pin the crime on Delicia.
Yep! Me?
Yes, that is correct.
Gusty, why? Why me?
As one who sought to be the world's best confectioner, I greatly respected Sir Master. It was never my intention to cast suspicion on him, but an insolent woman who dared sully the contest with fake desserts. I had no problem letting someone like you take the blame for the crime.
That makes me sad.
If you hadn't snacked on other people's desserts, the body would have never been found. It was when Sir Master judging Lady Delicia's room. That was when I finally saw an opportunity to freeze the body, but before I could move the body, Lady Catherine had already discovered it.
Why did you need to freeze Monsieur Dover's body?
Why indeed?
Monsieur Edgeworth, please tell us, why would Monsieur Gustavia have needed to freeze the body?
Probably throw off the time of death, right? Mr. Gustavia intended to freeze the body in order to throw off the time of death. If the time of death had coincided with the tea party, Miss Gustavia would have been suspected. That is correct. Preparations were necessary to freeze the body while I was preparing in Dover's room. I placed the body in the treasure chest in Sir Master's room. I could think of no better hiding place at the time. But thanks to that gluttonous pharmacist, the lid of the chest broke!
But why did you disguise him as an ice sculpture?
Once the body was discovered, there would be no time to throw off the time of death. To buy time, you need to hide it someplace else.
How horrid! How could you hide Monsieur Dover's body within one of his own works?
It all would have worked out if the body had been discovered while it was in Sir Master's room. If everything had gone according to plan, Sir Master would never have been arrested.
So, because I discovered the body, it's my fault Monsieur Master was...
Gate, don't take his words to heart. Even if suspicion hadn't fallen on Mr. Master, Miss Delicious would have taken the fall. No matter who he targeted, the one at fault here is Mr. Gustavia himself. The detective in charge of the initial investigation was also a dunce. To think he had never reported the missing body to the prosecutor. Prosecutor von Kalmrin indicted Mr. Master without knowing the body had vanished. I see. That'll explain why I look so flustered at the crime scene. Although, it's something that would stand out if you read the official documents.
Could someone have intentionally distorted the information? At any rate, von Kalmrin found out about the missing body after he had made his indictment. And if he had let one person be acquitted, he'd have a stain on his much-prided perfect record. That's why he concealed the fact that the body was hidden, and had Mr. Master declared guilty.
What are you saying? For 18 years, that man has taken the blame for your crimes. Don't you feel anything at all?
I don't care what you say. What a monster! I'm arresting him right here, right now, sir!
We can't.
I'm sorry, but I'm afraid that will be impossible.
So you figured it out. That's correct. You have no right to sentence me.
What? But the culprit is standing right in front of us.
Allow me to tell you the reason why you can't arrest me.
Why you can't arrest me?
It has been 18 years since I murdered Dover. The statute of limitations for murder in this country is 15 years, is it not? In other words, it's impossible for you to arrest me. I only confessed to my crime because the statute of limitations had expired.
If the suspect flees to or lives in a foreign country.
Oh, we got him!
If possible causes are in trial, they cannot stop. We got him. It's fine. It's fine. We got him.
The statute of limitations for murder is 15 years? Mr. Edgeworth, is there nothing we can do?
As long as the statute of limitations remains, arresting him is impossible.
No way. My sincerest apologies, Prosecutor Edgeworth. Neither Mr. Gustavia's testimony nor your logic can be taken as official legal proof. The verdict of the trial 18 years ago cannot be overturned.
What about the fact that Mr. Dover's body was hidden? Even if we can't arrest Mr. Gustavia, this should at least earn Mr. Master a retrial.
Really? I wonder about that. Overturning a verdict of the goddess of law is much harder than you think.
Is the PIC trying to justify the verdict from 18 years ago?
How unfortunate, Sir Prosecutor.
Is there nothing I can do? Is there no way to continue pursuing Mr. Gustavia? No, it's fine.
Gotta read the fine print, Edgeworth.
It's possible that some of your actions 18 years ago were not affected by the statute.
No! It's been so long, I've got nothing left to hide. Ask me anything you like.
Very well. Could you explain to me what you did during these past 18 years?
Certainly. After the contest, the medicine from the recipe book allowed me to fully cure my taste disorder. I then immediately headed to Zhangfa to train my design skills. So he wasn't seen ever since that case because he was in a foreign country.
So, got him.
Indeed, I'm certain that I went abroad to train. About 1 year after that case, right before Sir Master's final trial began. Thanks to my training, I am now a confectioner unparalleled in both taste and design.
You should not be proud of a position earned through the sacrifice of others. No! You can't make a cake without breaking a few eggs. Sacrifices were necessary for my goal.
That's horrible.
Say what you will. The fact still remains that you cannot arrest me. I have to get more information out of Mr. Gustavia. Is there anything of note in his recent testimony? Yes. His training in Zhang Fa. Could you please add the details about your training in Zhang Fa to your testimony? Certainly. Afterwards, I trained in Zhang Fa to become the world's best confectioner. Come on. There we go, we got him. Oh, you are a fool. One of the conditions regarding the statute of limitations for murder is as follows. If the suspect flees to a foreign country, the time limit is on hold until the suspect returns. So the statute of limitations was suspended while you were overseas.
That's right! The statute of limitations stopped while you were training in Zhang Fa! Indeed. It is possible that the statute of limitations has not expired yet. Mr. Gustavia, please tell us how long you stayed in Zhang Fa.
It would be exactly 3 years.
3 years? Wait. Let's calmly think this over. The case occurred 18 years ago. The statute of limitations is 15 years, and he was away for 3.
15 plus 3 is exactly 18 years! I'm sure of it! Mr. Edgeworth, we did it! The statute of limitations hasn't expired yet!
Exactly 18 years, you say? How amusing! So, he realized.
Why are you laughing? The statute of limitations still applies!
Okay. It's frustrating, but the case occurred in December. It's April now, which means, strictly speaking, the case occurred 18 years and 4 months ago. His stay abroad wasn't quite enough. Were we just a few months short?
Not enough? That's...
Like I said, it's impossible for you to arrest me. No! He must have known all about this when he confessed to his crime.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, it really is a shame. If it was just 1 year earlier, the statute of limitations would not have run out. Those who undermine the goddess of law's verdict must bear the burden of their crimes. It seems you were simply incapable.
No! This can't be the end.
So, Monsieur Gustavia really is beyond the law's reach.
Gate, what are you thinking?
Objection.
If you're thinking of taking matters into your own hands, I implore you to reconsider. There still might be a way to bring this man to justice.
What?
Miles, remember the facts of the case 18 years ago. Just as you were mistaken earlier, it seems Mr. Gustavia has also overlooked one key detail. Overlooked. He wasn't present during Mr. Master's final trial, so he doesn't know the outcome of the trial. There may yet be a way for you to arrest him. Miles, look over the book on the statute of limitations again.
It says something about accomplices, doesn't it? If charges are pressed to... No, sorry. If possible accomplices are on trial, the countdown is... Oh!
17 years ago, Master was falsely declared guilty for a serious crime. Thanks to that verdict, we aren't out of ammunition just yet.
Mr. Shields, you don't mean...
He was... yeah, of course. Those who undermine the goddess of law's verdict must bear the burden of their crimes. I'm Mr. Master's attorney. I can't use his suffering as a weapon in good conscience. For that reason, I'll leave the rest up to you.
The trial my father and Von Kalma battled over. Can I use that to arrest Mr. Gustavia? What should I do? Should I raise an objection? No, I shouldn't raise an objection. My father and Von Kalma. The past diverged. One revealed the truth, the other concealed it. The path that I chose is the one that reveals the truth.
I see no further reason to prolong this trial. I hereby find Dane Gustavia not guilty.
Overruled. Gustavia will stand in court for his crimes.
Do you mean to say you have found a way to arrest Mr. Gustavia?
Exactly. I'll show Judge Courtney the evidence that will shatter the statute of limitations. The case files.
The I-7 case file, which page you're referring to?
The suspect data. There we go. The suspect data page. At the trial, Jeffrey Master was found guilty of being an accomplice to murder. And it took 1 year to arrive at this verdict.
Right. That is indeed true.
This book lists conditions in which the statute of limitations can be put on hold. The first, as I've said earlier, if the suspect flees to a foreign country. But there's one more. If possible accomplices are on trial, the countdown is stopped until the verdict is reached. What are you saying? Sir Master was found to be an accomplice?
That's right. Mr. Master was sentenced after you had left for your trip to Zhangfa, and he was found guilty, not of being the culprit, but of being an accomplice. But it seems you didn't know that.
That's absurd! Sir Master never committed any crime to begin with. You should certainly know this. Of course we do. That is why we're going to free him. To that end, we will shatter the one remaining obstacle in our way, the statute of limitations. You fled to Zhangfa for 3 years, and Jeff Master was being tried as an accomplice for 1 year. Put it all together, we see that the total time limit for this case is 19 years. In other words, the statute of limitations is not over for you yet.
The goddess of law is unerring to her inner judgments. Unerring. However, it seems that the prosecutor at the time was not. I cannot believe it, but it seems like the case will have to be reopened.
This is absurd! You can't arrest me?
Objection.
For the last 18 years, an innocent man has suffered greatly in your stead. Mr. Gustavia, it's now time for you to atone for your crimes.
I finally earned my place as the greatest confectioner in the world. To achieve that goal, I cast everything aside, even my own son. What a shame. You can't run from your crimes any longer. Oh god, that hurt my throat.
Whew! Dane Gustavia has been taken into custody, sir.
Yeah, so you're up next, right? Yes, I understand.
Kate.
Everyone, I am truly sorry for all the trouble I've caused, and thank you very much for catching Monsieur Gustavia.
What you did cannot be overlooked, even if the crimes you committed were in response to a past injustice. As a prosecutor, I am terribly sorry for what happened.
No, I'm only getting what I deserve, since I was the cause of all this.
Kate, will you have me as your attorney? I'm not quite the same useless kid I was 18 years ago. I won't let them find you guilty.
Oh,
Oh, Monsieur Shields. Yes, thank you so much.
oh, this case, man. It hits you in the feels.
Sorry to interrupt, but it's time to go.
Yes, alright.
Judge Courtney, I can't help but feel that you've been dishonest with me.
Dishonest? Whatever do you mean?
You said that the verdict could not be overturned, but that was not the case. A reinvestigation and retrial were obviously required as soon as the missing body was found.
I have no need to answer you.
It seems she doesn't intend to ever give me an answer.
Prosecutor Edgeworth, the PIC has you in its sights. They will receive a report on everything you did here today, and you will most likely be required to appear before them. Now then, I shall take my leave.
She's so mysterious. Like, I don't understand.
Hold on, Mr. Edwards caught the real bad guy. Can he do his job as a prosecutor?
No matter how things turn out, I will never regret what I did here today.
Mr. Edgeworth. Hey, Prosecutor Edgeworth.
What is it?
Why are you always sticking your nose into cases that you're not even involved with?
My duty is to reveal the truth, not only as a prosecutor. It's just who I am.
I don't get it.
As long as you continue to think that being the best is all that matters, I doubt you ever will.
Well, I don't get that either. I'm going home. What was that all about?
There is much he still needs to learn. Ah, he saw himself in him, didn't he? Because that's all he cared about when he was starting to be a prosecutor. He just wanted to be the best. Obviously, he was a bit more intelligent than the best, but he could see, he was like, he's going through a me phase right now.
M-I-L-E-Y.
What is it?
I knew Gregory said you'd do it. I think I might be falling for you. Thanks for helping Jeffy.
Well, yo, Edgy, great job solving that case. Well, I was busy drawing, so I really didn't catch all of it. Huh? Where did Katie and Justy run off to?
They're east. You really weren't paying much attention at all, were you?
Well, I hate to admit it, but Larry's doodles actually helped us out a few times. I should say something nice to him. Don't glare at me like that! I'm sorry! It was not my intent to glare at you.
That patented Edgeworth glare. You're just like your old man.
Is that so?
Well then, Uncle Ray's gonna go pay Mr. Master a visit. You guys wanna take along?
I'd be happy to accompany you.
Oh, me too.
Oh, I can already feel the feels coming. Oh no. It's, I'm not ready for this.
Is this Jeffrey Master? What's he like?
Oh, he's a really nice and gentle guy. He's still doing his best to make people happy. He actually cooks desserts for the inmates. Nowadays, all the prisoners and guards look forward to snack time at 3 o'clock.
Wow, that's nice. I want to use desserts too.
So the chocolate cake we saw in the prison the other day. Oh! God, this game really is going to be an it's all connected thing, isn't it? He was the one who made it. God, he looks...
Oh, Gummy, why are you here?
I heard everybody was coming to visit, so I escorted Mr. Master myself.
Hello, one and all. I'm Jeffrey Master. Prosecutor Miles Edgeworth at your service.
I'm Mr. Edgeworth's assistant, Kay Faraday.
Ho ho! It is a pleasure to meet you all.
Mr. Master, Miles is your old defense attorney's son.
You mean Mr. Gregory's? Your father has done so much for me, and yet I betrayed his good faith when I made the false confession. I've heard the details from Mr. Shields.
Mr. Master, I came here today to tell you everything we've learned about 18 years ago.
18 years ago? Kate committed a crime for my sake. Why would you do such a thing?
Miss Holland's been trying to prove your innocence for the past 18 years. She was willing to do whatever it took to save you.
Kate, she shouldn't have gone through so much trouble for an old man who let her down. Mr. Master, I don't think you realize just how much Miss Hall cares for you. I have something here that clearly proves the two of you share an unbreakable bond. An unbreakable bond? Proof of the bond between Jeffrey Master and Catherine Hall. This should give Mr. Master some peace of mind. The chocolates is what I'm thinking.
Take that!
These chocolates. Did Kate make them? She did.
They're really sweet and tasty.
She's been making these chocolates for the past 18 years, so that she could give them to you whenever you returned. Kate.
Oh, God dang it.
I'm sure they're very, very sweet. Yes, they truly are. Unfortunately, I cannot give them to you now, but...
I can hand them over to later. I can hand them over later in secret, pal.
It is against the rules, but right now I don't have the authority to stop him. Oh, thank you very much. Say, you remind me of an old friend. Do you know of a Detective Bad?
Of course I do. Detective Bad is my #1 role model, pal.
How uncanny. Talk about fate.
Mr. Master, it's looking like we'll be able to get you out soon. I can only apologize that it took 18 years to do so.
Raymond, I'm the one who should be apologizing. No, that's not it. What I really should be saying is, thank you.
Mr. Master.
Now it's my turn to wait for Kate. I'll make her favorite sweets every day until she returns. Please look after her, Raymond.
You got it.
Oh, this case. The IS-7 incident, the case I inherited from my father. After 18 long years, it's finally coming to a close.
Miles, thanks for today. I am sorry for leaving that final decision to you.
No, I made that decision of my own free will.
Eh? What are you talking about?
To arrest Gustavia, we had no choice but to use Mr. Master's false charge. To use Mr. Master's false charge, which I was originally supposed to protect him from. The attorney inside of me simply could not do it.
So that's how it was.
But after this, Uncle Ray's gonna try to clear away that false charge as well.
Yes, I understand.
What? But if they find out about the false charge, they won't be able to arrest Mr. Gustavia, right?
That's true. It sure is a contradiction in the law. The way the law is right now, it isn't always completely right.
A contradiction in the law.
Well, who knows what'll happen. The law evolves and grows, just like all of us do. Just like Uncle Ray and Miles have grown up. You know?
People in the law both grow.
Miles, to fight crime as a prosecutor, or to save people as a defense attorney, I want you to think carefully about how you want to live your life from now on.
I will.
Well, if you ask Uncle Ray, you'll always be welcome down to the office. Alrighty then, looks like it's time for Uncle Ray to get going. Next time I see you, I'll be sure to thank you again. Really though, thanks for today.
Oh, man. Oh, God.
Mr. Shield seemed to be in a bit of a hurry.
Indeed. I should be the one thanking him. I was able to face my father's last case because of him. When I was young, I wanted to become a great defense attorney like my father. However, under Prosecutor Von Karma, I learned the ways of a prosecutor. Thanks to a certain friend, I was able to discover my own path in life. However, right now, there are forces trying to take me off the prosecutor's path. Maybe now is the perfect time to think about how I should live my life. No. Oh. Oh! Hold up. Oh! Oh!
Gregory, I'm sorry that it took so long. It may have taken 18 years, but finally, we've proven Mr. Master's innocence. Miles, your son, helped me with that. The way he fought for the truth. He was just like you, Gregory.
Oh! Oh, no, it hurts. Oh, do you feel that pain? Ooh. Oh. That is some pain right there.
I'm still not the kind of attorney you were, but I'll forever carry on the convictions I've inherited from you. And if I can...
Oh! Oh, it hurts. You just feel it, man.
together with him.
Oh my god. To fight crime as a prosecutor, or to save people as a defense attorney. The path I choose is... No. No! No! Why, game? I don't even want to stop playing The Forgotten Turnabout. Well, I'm going to end today's episode here for now, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you have enjoyed, please leave a like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. Stick around to see more of this awesome game. We will be playing it till the end, obviously. And, yeah, that case was maybe... It might be one of my favorite cases in this entire series. It was so good. Holy crap. I don't have words for it. This game is... I'm not going to say where it is now, but it is pretty high up on my list of favorite Ace Attorney games. Oh, wow, that was the feels, man. The feels are really what got to me. That was it's so good, man. This game is just it's beautiful. I don't say that about many games, but like this game is and it sucks that it's never gonna get localized because the DS is dead, and the only way it could is if it got like a Switch release or something, and hopefully they would translate it then. But thank you for the people who translate this game, because this is amazing. This game is amazing. But anyways, I'm gonna wrap it up here for now. Thank you for watching. I'll see you all later with the next episode. Peace out.